2024, a year etched in the annals of sports history, a year where the impossible became possible, where underdogs rose, where legends were written. From the gridiron to the baseball diamond to the basketball court, drama unfolded in ways we never imagined. We saw breathtaking victories that defied all odds. We witnessed crushing defeats that left us speechless. And through it all, the human spirit soared, reminding us why we love sports. This is a story of triumph and heartbreak, of perseverance and determination. It's a story that will stay with you long after the final whistle blows. So buckle up and get ready to relive the most unforgettable moments of 2024. The year sports drama reached a fever pitch. Are you ready for the ultimate opportunity of 2024? We're hosting an epic holiday raffle extravaganza on December 20th. Comment Raffle and ask for the details. Cyber Monday, Black Friday, and Christmas shopping are closer than you think. Don't wait. Click the link, follow the journey, and prepare to score free gifts before it's too late. Check out our featured products now. Influencer Link Raffle on December 20. Ask for the details. Link Influencer Products. But 2024 wasn't just about the unexpected. It was also about the legends, those who left an indelible mark on their respective sports. We saw icons bid farewell, their legacies cemented in the hearts of fans forever. We watched as new heroes emerged, ready to carry the torch and inspire a new generation. These stories are a testament to the enduring power of sports. They remind us that even in the face of adversity, the human spirit can overcome any obstacle. So join us as we delve into the highs and lows of 2024, a year that will forever be remembered for its unforgettable moments of sports drama. Choose your story, choose your hero, and relive the magic of 2024. The Superdome buzzed. It was electric. Sean Payton was back in New Orleans. His return to the Big Easy was the talk of the NFL. After leading the Saints to a Super Bowl victory, Payton had stepped away. Now he was back. This time, he was on the opposite sideline, coaching the Denver Broncos. The tension was palpable. Fans didn't know whether to cheer or jeer. Payton, the man who had brought them so much joy, was now the enemy. But Payton wasn't focused on the noise. His eyes were locked on the field. He had a game to win, a point to prove. The Saints were a team in transition. They were looking for a spark. Payton was determined to extinguish any hope they had. From the opening kickoff, the Broncos were relentless. They played with a chip on their shoulder, as if they had something to prove. Their defense, led by a ferocious pass rush, swarmed Saints quarterback Jameis Winston. Winston, already under pressure, crumbled. He threw interceptions. He fumbled the ball. The Broncos capitalized on every mistake. On offense, the Broncos were a well-oiled machine. Russell Wilson, rejuvenated under Payton's guidance, picked apart the Saints' secondary. He connected with Courtland Sutton for 2 touchdowns. The Broncos were unstoppable. Section 3. A broken wing. But the game wasn't without its casualties. In the second quarter, tragedy struck the Saints. Cornerback Paulson Adebo went down with a gruesome leg injury. The stadium fell silent. The sight was too much for even the most hardened fan. Adebo was carted off the field, his season over. The Saints, already reeling from the Broncos' onslaught, were dealt another blow. Emotionally, they were spent. The Broncos continued their dominance. They piled on the points. The Saints, their spirits broken, could only watch as their season slipped away. The final score, Broncos 33, Saints 10. Section 1. A series on the brink. The Bronx Bombers, the evil empire, The New York Yankees. No team in baseball history commanded more respect or instilled more fear. Their pedigree was unmatched, their legacy unparalleled. But in the fall of 2024, they found themselves on the brink. The Cleveland Guardians, a team with a fraction of the Yankees' history, were pushing them to the limit. The ALCS was tied at 1 game apiece, Game 3 in Cleveland. Winner takes control. The Yankees, as always, were confident. They had the firepower, the experience. But the Guardians, they had a secret weapon, the unwavering belief that they belonged on the same stage. Section 2. Backs against the wall. The game was a roller coaster. Lead changes, momentum swings. The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. By the 8th inning, the Yankees were clinging to a 3-2 lead. Their closer Clay Holmes was on the mound. Holmes had been lights out all season, but on this night, he was human. He gave up a single, then a walk. The tying run was on second, the go-ahead run on first. The Guardians' dugout was electric. The crowd, a sea of red and white, roared with every pitch. They could sense destiny calling. The Yankees, for once, looked vulnerable. Section 3. Destiny's Children. Then it happened. Jhonkensy Noel, the Guardians' young slugger, stepped to the plate. He had struggled in the series, but this was his moment. He could feel it. Holmes delivered a fastball. Noel swung with all his might. The crack of the bat echoed through the stadium. The ball soared towards the heavens. Time seemed to stand still. The ball landed deep in the right field bleachers, a 3-run home run. The Guardians had done the unthinkable. They had taken a commanding 2-1 series lead. The impossible was now within reach. Section 1. The City of Angels held its breath. Dodger Stadium, a cathedral of baseball. Under the bright lights, the Los Angeles Dodgers were on a mission. The World Series was within their grasp. But standing in their way were the New York Mets, a team with a never-say-die attitude. The NLCS was a clash of titans, 2 of baseball's most storied franchises. The Dodgers, with their deep lineup and pitching staff, were the favorites. The Mets, with their own share of stars, were not to be underestimated. Game 3. The series was tied at 1 game apiece. The tension was palpable. The Dodgers, playing at home, needed a win. They couldn't afford to fall behind. Section 2. The Ohtani and Betts Show. From the outset, it was clear that the Dodgers' stars were ready. Shohei Ohtani, the two-way phenom, was dominant on the mound. His fastball sizzled. His splitter danced. The Mets hitters had no answers. And when Ohtani wasn't striking batters out, he was hurting them at the plate. In the 4th inning, he launched a towering home run into the right field bleachers. The crowd erupted. Ohtani was putting on a show. But Ohtani wasn't the only Dodger star shining bright. Mookie Betts, the dynamic outfielder, was a one-man wrecking crew. He was hitting everything in sight. Line drives, home runs. He was unstoppable. Section 3. A city shrouded in blue. The Mets, to their credit, battled valiantly, but they were outmatched. The Dodgers' pitching was too much. Their hitting, too potent. As the game wore on, the Dodgers' lead grew. The outcome was no longer in doubt. The only question was, how big would the victory be? When the final out was recorded, the Dodgers had won 7-1. They had taken a commanding 2-1 series lead. The World Series was within reach, and the city of Los Angeles was ready to erupt in celebration. The United Center, the house that Michael Jordan built, a place where legends were born and where dreams came true. But on this night, the air was thick with anticipation. A nervous energy pulsed through the arena. Lonzo Ball was back. After nearly 3 years of injuries and setbacks, the prodigal son was ready to return. The weight of the world was on his shoulders. Could he recapture the magic? Could he live up to the hype? The questions swirled. The Chicago Bulls, a team on the rise, were desperate for his playmaking ability, his court vision, his ability to control the pace of the game, but more than anything, they needed his leadership. The crowd erupted as Lonzo's name was announced. A deafening roar that shook the rafters. He rose from the bench, a wide smile spreading across his face. He had waited so long for this moment. The first few minutes were tentative. Lonzo was rusty. His shot wasn't falling. But you could see the flashes of brilliance, the no-look passes, the defensive instincts. The crowd held its breath, waiting for him to explode. And then it happened. Overtime. The game was on the line. Tie score. The ball found its way into Lonzo's hands. This was his moment. A crossover dribble, a step-back jumper, nothing but net. The crowd went wild. Lonzo had found his rhythm, and he wasn't done yet. Another steal, a behind-the-back pass for an easy layup, then another three-pointer, and another. Lonzo was on fire. He scored 20 straight points in overtime. An unforgettable performance. A storybook return. The Chicago crowd was in a frenzy, chanting his name, hailing their returning hero. Lonzo Ball was back, and he was better than ever. Lane Stadium. The house that Beamer built, a place where Virginia Tech football reigned supreme. Generations of Hokies had bled orange and maroon within those hallowed grounds, but in recent years the program had fallen on hard times. The wins were harder to come by, the roar of the crowd a little less deafening. But on this night, under the bright lights, there was a sense of hope in the air, a belief that maybe, just maybe, the Hokies were on the verge of something special. They were facing the Boston College Eagles, a team with a proud tradition of their own. The Hokies, however, had a secret weapon, a young running back by the name of Bhaishul Tootin, a name that would soon be etched in Virginia Tech lore. From the opening kickoff, Tootin was a man possessed. He ran with a combination of power and speed that left the Eagles' defense grasping at air. Every carry was a statement, a declaration that he was the best player on the field. The Hokies' offensive line, rejuvenated by Tootin's performance, opened up holes you could drive a truck through. And Tootin, he hit those holes with the force of a runaway train. He broke tackles. He outran defenders. He was unstoppable. Every time he touched the ball, the crowd held its breath, waiting for the inevitable explosion. Section 3. A star is born. By halftime, Tootin had already amassed over 100 yards rushing, a feat he had only accomplished once before in his young career. But he wasn't done. Not even close. In the second half, he turned up the intensity. He ran with even more power, even more speed. The Eagles had no answer. He was simply too strong, too fast, too good. When the final whistle blew, Tootin had etched his name in the Virginia Tech record books. He had rushed for an astounding 266 yards, a single-game record for the Hokies, a performance for the ages. A star was born. The Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York. The energy was electric. The New York Liberty, led by their star point guard, Sabrina Ionescu, were in a dogfight. Game 3 of the WNBA playoffs. Their season hung in the balance. The atmosphere was a cauldron of noise and passion. Every possession mattered. Every shot, a battle. The Liberty, a team on a mission, refused to back down. They had come too far. Their hearts, filled with a burning desire, wouldn't let them quit. Ionescu, the conductor of the Liberty's orchestra, was a force of nature. Her vision, unmatched. Her passing, a thing of beauty. She could slice through defenses with surgical precision. Her teammates, inspired by her leadership, rose to the occasion. The clock ticked down. Seconds turned into milliseconds. The score, tied. One shot would decide it all. The weight of the world rested on Sabrina's shoulders, but she didn't flinch. She embraced the pressure. This was her moment. The ball found its way into her hands. Instinct took over. Years of practice, countless hours in the gym. This was what it all came down to. She dribbled to her left. Her defender, draped all over her, refused to give an inch. Ionescu rose up, soaring above the defender. Time seemed to stand still. The crowd, a sea of white and teal, held its breath. The ball left her fingertips, arcing through the air, a perfect spiral. It looked good. No, it looked great. It was going in. The buzzer sounded as the ball swished through the net. A perfect shot, a game winner. The crowd erupted. The Liberty had done it. Sabrina Ionescu had done it. She had hit the biggest shot of her life, a shot that would be replayed for years to come, a shot that cemented her legacy as one of the greatest to ever play the game. The roar of the crowd, the squeak of sneakers on hardwood, the swish of the net. These were the sounds that defined Tony Bennett's life. For years, he had patrolled the sidelines at the University of Virginia, his heart and soul poured into every possession. But in 2024, the music stopped. Bennett, the architect of Virginia's rise to basketball prominence, announced his retirement. The news sent shockwaves through the sport. His decision was a reminder that even in the world of sports, where time seems to stand still, life goes on. Legends fade, new chapters begin. But Bennett's impact on Virginia basketball and on the sport as a whole would never be forgotten. He had built a program on a foundation of hard work, discipline, and integrity. He had taught his players that there was more to life than just basketball. And in doing so, he had earned the respect and admiration of countless fans, colleagues, and rivals. As one legend stepped aside, another continued to write his own story. Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens' dynamic quarterback, was on a mission. From the moment he stepped on the field, he was a force of nature. His speed, his elusiveness, his rocket arm, they all combined to create a highlight reel waiting to happen. Every time he touched the ball, the impossible seemed possible. His journey had been anything but ordinary. He had faced doubters and critics every step of the way, but he had silenced them all with his play on the field. In 2024, Jackson was playing not just for himself, but for the legacy he was building. He was determined to cement his place among the NFL's elite, to prove that he was more than just a flash in the pan. And as he dropped back to pass, his eyes scanning the field, you could see the fire in his eyes, the hunger for greatness, the drive to be the best. Lamar Jackson's story was far from over. It was just getting started.